First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High and His only begotten Son. Call Halei Mla Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. All right, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Root and Teach Will, Wa Barakathum, unto the hopeful elect. All right, now today through the Spirit, I'd like to go into a video entitled, This is Not Your Rest. Okay, this is not your rest. And when you break down that word rest in Micah, the 2nd chapter, Micah 2 and 10, I believe that word is manawak. All right, and when you break down the definitions of manawak, you know, it goes into how it's your consolation. And even when you break down what consolation means, it means like you're ultimately it's like a reward after being in hell. It's like you're receiving, you know, you're basically your hell being over. You know, and you're receiving that reward after being in hell or being, you know, in a base situation. So it's like, this is not our rest. So the kingdom is not going to be in Esau's rulership. The kingdom is going to be when Yahweh Shai is in rulership. So as long as Esau Edom is in rulership, we're still going to be in debt. We're still going to be in debt. You're still going to be catching hell, having infirmities. You know, you're still going to have your relatives or your woman and people bugging out on you. It's always going to be a continual hell. Every lucrative thing you do is going to build up this wicked ass kingdom. It's not building up the state of your people. You're just going to be in this position until Yahweh Shai gets you out of here. And there's no way we can escape out of it. So it's like trying to look to carnality and things of that nature, like a lot of people typically do. They try and get out of a position of hell. But you're not going to do that until Yahweh Shai returns. And Yahweh Shai is who the world really called Jesus, man. His name is Yahweh Shai. That's why he said it. In the Gospels of St. John, he said, in the world you shall have tribulation, but be of peace. Be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Because in the world, you're going to have tribulation. Your mind is just focused in on trying to thrive in this society. It's going to cause you to have tribulation because you're trying to make this your rest. You're not understanding that you're meant to be in a captivity. You know, so you might try and, you know what I'm saying, overexert yourself trying to make a super crazy amount of money, devoting all your time into it. Or you may try and do all this stuff to try and find you know, you kind of in a mindset, I got to get me a real submissive, ancient woman and all that stuff. You putting too much into all these things and you're not understanding that no matter what you do, it's going to not be your rest. It's always going to be hell. You're going to find you a foreign chick and she's going to start acting like these American Babylonian hoes. That's where a lot of brothers live at. Or even another place. You can be somewhere else where the women are brought up more traditional and then they're being corrupted by America. Because the Lord ultimately the Lord is showing us this is not our rest. No matter what type of chick you get, she's going to get on your goddamn nerves and she's going to be, you know what I'm saying? She's going to basically ultimately, like some brothers, they don't even deal with women fully. They stay single and they'll deal with them for a while, and then they'll go to another one and go to another one and go to another one. And that's really the best way to be if you're single. Really, that's really the best way to be overall. Keep it a buck. By the way, modern day women are, a lot of brothers, they, you know, deal. And then if a chick is cool, they'll deal with her. Majority of the time, they'll just deal until the chick start bugging out and then go to another one. But for the brothers that do have a woman, Paul said it best, you're going to have trouble in the flesh. Why she was shy. All right, it said you can't expect, you know, to have a solid situation in this society because a woman can't focus on being a woman in this society. You know, a woman got to take their ass to work and work hella hours. Then, you know what I'm saying? She basically, her mindset is geared towards, she's trying to do woman things and then do stuff a man is supposed to do in this society, which fucks everything up. She's supposed to be helping forward whatever your enterprise is or whatever you got going on, but she got a job too. So now she's too tired to do her womanly duties that she's supposed to do. She tired to give it to you because she was working and shit like that, man. And also another thing too is that they don't have no fucking help, because women are so westernized. They want to, oh yeah, monogamy and all that. So now she's all burnt out because she has to do everything herself. So everything is just messed up here, and it's gonna stay that way, you know, until Yahushua returns. But a lot of them, they got to do all this stuff that they shouldn't even have to do, because if they didn't have to do all these various male masculine things, then they'll be able to be a full woman. And also, if we were in sovereignty is the ultimate thing, but also it's because they have to do all this manly shit, and a woman ain't gonna really be able to be fully available for you because she's too busy having to do all this bullshit in this society. So that's just how it is in hell. You know, all that energy she gives going to work and doing that's supposed to be given to you as you being her husband. You know, but as in hell, you ain't gonna be able to receive that. And also in hell, it's always gonna be debts placed upon you. You're always gonna be in fucking debt. That's how the house of David was. A lot of them were in debt, catching pure hell, man, afflicted, and that's what you inherit when you. That's what the elect is gonna be in. They're gonna be sighing and crying, like, man, Lord, please get us out of here. You know. So you can get you a new gig that's making, you know, you can make 6 figures, do whatever, but guess what? You still gonna be in hell. You can make more than that, still gonna be in hell. You still, like, everything you do is building up a wicked kingdom to where your children have to deal with all this wickedness. You don't know if your kid's gonna get corrupted by this world. You know, you can't even really do anything right. We see it how the Lord set up everything to be done, and you can't even do that here in this society. You know, all these demonic, you know, unclean fools being pushed out, and then, you know, they selling fake stuff that has all these chemicals in it, just killing you. So it's like, man, you know, your family's getting jacked up too. You can't have a rest here. That monowak. That's why it says, if Micah 2:10, rise ye and depart, for it's not your rest. For it's corrupted and it'll pollute you. You see? And that's what's always happened to Israel, trying to be like these heathen nations and trying to ultimately be cool with them. You know, trying to they'll mimic the ways of the heathen nations to try and get ease in their captivity and feel good, but it ain't no fucking ease or rest. You see? You gonna be tired as hell. You know, you're gonna always desire to have more, because this society is so fucking wicked. Everything is you're in depth with everything has interest on it. It's meant to keep your ass down. So you're gonna always desire to make more money or have a better situation. You're gonna always want other women. You know, you're gonna always desire a better life, but it's not gonna happen. Lord will allow you to get certain things, but he's gonna balance it out. You might make more money, and now you got more problems to deal with now. Or now the job is way more physically demanding, so you fucking more tired, body be fucked up. You know, the Lord balances everything out. He'll give you certain things. Like you got a better woman, but now you barely get to spend time with her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you trying to go fuck on your new chick, and then she on her period and shit. Like, dang, man, now you got, I can't deal with you, baby. You're on your period, whatever. You know, or the time you finally have availability to see her. Now it's Sabbath finna come. It's just stuff like that. It's always gonna be some stuff to balance it out, to where you can't really enjoy anything in this society, because, like the scriptures say, it's not your rest. And when you try and make it your rest, it'll destroy you. You trying to, like, yeah, I'm gonna try and, you know, because we all get in that spirit. I'm gonna try and not be in no debt. I'm gonna try and be just, but you're not gonna be able to, man. Now, if the Lord allows you to, then, hey, call on GMSqambachaayar. You might be able to get out of debt or whatever the case may be. You might be able to get your finances in order, but guess what? It's gonna be other stuff you're gonna still have to deal with. It's not gonna be just no hell at all. Even if you're in the world, even if you're a regular Jake, you're gonna still be in hell. This is not our rest, man. this is not the kingdom. That's why you have to be in that spirit, like Hebrews 13 and 14. It says, for here we have no continuous city, but we seek one to come. Right? So this is not going to last forever. This is not the place where the glory abides. This is not the sovereign kingdom of the Lord. In the kingdom, we're going to have a lucrative society that we're going to be able to really thrive in righteousness. It's not going to be thriving in wickedness, because in this society, if you're not tapping into that NWO, you ain't going to be the top. You ain't going to be the top earner. If you're not tapping into Esau's system and forwarding what he got going on, you're not going to be the top dog. And that's just what it is. In order for somebody to be up there with those top earners, you're going to have to forward that NWO, homie. And we're ordered to not do that through the spirit of GMSqambachaayar. You know? So then you understanding that it'll lead to you to have that peace. Because you understand that our rest comes from what? The scriptures, from GMSqambachaayar. Our rest is not going to be here. But really, ultimately, we're going to fully rest whenever GMSqambachaayar returns and we get into the kingdom. Because ultimately what it does is GMSqambachaayar has with his doctrine, his word, the brotherhood, to give us a temporary, ease from the hell. But you're still in hell. You can't be around the brothers forever. You can't be doing spiritual things forever. Of course, we walk in the spirit in our everyday life trying to stay spiritual, but at the same time, it's like you got to go back to being in the matrix. You got to take your ass to work. You got to go deal with your family. You got to do all this bullshit. And then guess what? You got to deal with this worldly shit. And it's gonna fucking suck. Speaking to myself first and foremost, I'll be having to get that in my mind. This ain't your rest. You're not going to enjoy this, motherfucker. This shit's going to suck. Even if you make more money, it's going to fucking suck. Even if you get a new woman, it's going to fucking suck. Because we're just in hell, man. No matter what you do. But it comes with an acceptance of understanding that. This shit's going to always suck. The Lord's always going to balance it out. So when you desire a lot of these worldly things sometimes, what you're always going to, and it's not going to make you not be in hell. That's just the reality. That's the point I want to put through this video. No matter what you do, you're going to always be in hell under Esau Edom and his devil. And he's increasing everything because of this war that he's trying to force everybody into. It's going to make everything get more expensive anyway. So even if you do get a better working situation, you still going to be fucked. Because they're trying to make this shit digital. They're crashing the economy. They want to make it to where you put that device in your hand or your forehead. So now, oh yeah, I got my family and all that. Now you got to deal with, dang, my family being, you know what I'm saying? The Lord having your family to continue to follow you. So our faith is going to get put on trial. And some families may not have the spirit. The Lord might not put the spirit on them to follow you like Noah's family did. If that's the case, then, you know what I'm saying? That's something you got to worry about. It just fucking, this is hell. This is not our rest. And until, you know what I'm saying, GMSqambachaayar returns, we're going to be in this fucked up situation, and we got to continue to still do the work, man. It sucks. That's why the Lord tells us, sigh and cry. Call out to him for to come back and push this word, because that's what it says. Hey, this gospel shall be preached, then shall the end come. So we got to keep pushing up this word and building up the Lord's elect, building up the sheep of GMSqambachaayar, building up ourselves, and then, hey, the Lord is making this thing happen. It's happening on his time, though. A day with the Lord is 1,000 years. So we're in that last day. We're in that last time of this kingdom, this last end, that little ounce that Esau Edom has. But until then, you're going to be in fucking hell, man. It's going to fucking suck. Infirmities and just hell and fucking, all this shit. It sucks. But we still got a duty, got a job to do. And also, we still understand that, hey, this is why GMSqambachaayar got to return. Because look at the situation we're in. Ain't no escaping it, man. So through the Spirit, just wanted to push that message out there. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how you better your situation. You might think you better your situation, but the Lord gonna balance it out to make it to where you still got hell. You still feel that shit. You gonna still feel that heat, that fire. You know, because this is hell. This ain't our rest. You know, until we ain't gonna get in our rest till Yahushua returns. Once Yahushua come back, he's gonna make it so we're not bound by these debts and all this bullshit. We're gonna actually have real assets. We're gonna own people. You know, all these nations are gonna be our servants, right? They're gonna build up our kingdom for our people. You know, you ain't gonna build a situation where you making good money and they fucking taking all your money, they taxing the fuck out of you. You know, and everything is going to these little tiny cap. You building up they shit. You ain't building up your people or your stuff. But niggas think they rich now. I'm a billionaire. But niggas sending all that money to them tiny. They taxing you and they sending all that money over there to them. Just be some stupid ass war. You see? That's the type of shit that you deal with when you in hell. You ain't wealthy. Like Jake think they are. Jake think they on a level, but you're not. This system is set up to keep you on the bottom and keep your people on the bottom. That's why your people are in a jacked up situation. Because society is set up to be that way. To make it to where your people keep suffering and catching hell. You see? It's not set up for you to win here. Alright, and that's what you just gotta get and understand. While you here, all this stuff is gonna be here. It's here to just jack you up. You know? You wanna, oh, we're gonna build a schoolhouse and all this. You got certain camps that are in that spirit, and even you have these Jakes, like Umar Johnson, all these guys thinking that, man, that shit don't matter. You still gotta get money from who? The devil. You see? You still gotta build that shit and where? His land. You don't own no land. Our people don't have no land that we own, actually. These devils have taken power over everything, man. Until Yahushua returns, we ain't gonna be able to do any of that shit that they be talking about. And it's not gonna matter. You see, because that social media is still here. Your kids still gonna be corrupted by this fuck shit, man. We just need Yahushua to come and deliver us. That's the point I wanted to go into, man. Lord willing, this lesson edified and gave exhortation. I like to end it all by saying, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double words to the apostles, the elders, great millstone, Harun teach well. The next time, come by Shalom.